Show. I'm Kristen Cruz. Thanks so much for joining me. Every week we have something new that's going to help make your mom life way better, easier, or just make you feel better about how terrible things are going. It's okay, because guess what? We're all in the same boat. This too shall pass. But we have experts and other mommies and celebrities and authors that all come in here on the Mom Show to help us make life better. This is great. We've got home care services here today. Rick Ferrante is joining me to talk about the sandwich generation. Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. Okay, I'm going to adjust my mic a little bit. We're going to get started. I want everyone to know that we're going to help you with something that you probably don't know where to turn to. I know I'm going through it right now, and a lot of my mommy friends are, where we are not just the moms at home, but we also seem to be extending our parenting to, well, our parents as they get a little bit older. And we're going to dive into that, and we're going to give you some help. Isn't that a nice thing to know, that there's somebody that's going to help you with something that's been, hard lately, right? I know. And then also, I would love to introduce you to a new author, Kimberly Love. I just think you're going to fall in love with her. She's got a new book out that I'm talking to her about, and really the process of writing a book. So many moms have come to me saying, I have a book idea. I kind of want to write this, or, how would I go about it? And I just really think Kimberly's a great person to help walk us through that. Also, she didn't go for a kind of a typical book. You'll find out more, and I know I want you to stick around for that. Around 12:35, make sure you're here on the show. And then, of course, we've got Miss Kathy Cupcut, who is normally giving us the entertainment report, but today she's so busy because she's so important, right? Like, how are we so lucky to have her here? She's a little busy because she's at the press junket for The Incredibles. Come on, Kathy. So she's going to scoop all the details of The Incredibles 2. My kids cannot stop talking about that movie and wanting to see it. So we're going to hook up with her next Thursday and get the whole lowdown, the whole 411. By the way, I don't know if you're watching us on Facebook. Hi, please do. KHTS Facebook page. Am I up there or down here? I don't know. But hey, shout out to my Warner Brothers people. And the Lego movie, the second part, those PR friends of mine sent us a little package here to the station, so I wanted to open it with you guys, do a really quick unboxing, because I didn't know what was in here. But I mean, come on, when you have a box that says the Lego movie on it, you get pretty excited, right? So I'm opening it up and I'm checking it out, and don't forget, we've got the Lego Movie 2, the second part, coming out in February 8th, 2019. So you can put that on your calendar. Right between soccer practice and what you're doing at school with the kids. You know they're going to want to see this movie. So February 8th, and what could they have sent me? They said Taco Tuesday is back. Taco Tuesday? Yes! Who does not love the bold old El Paso kit? By the way, they know me because it's complete with the nacho cheese flavored shells. Thank you very much. Kids, this is what we're having to dinner tonight at my house. So we've got that from the Lego movie. And, of course, they did send me a nice DVD copy of the movie. So we're going to be doing dinner and a movie tonight, thanks to my Lego friends. So I think it's hashtag Taco Tuesday is what you can do if you want to get in on this next Tuesday. I think they're going to try to hashtag the Lego movie, too. But I hashtag Taco Tuesday. All right, also, because who doesn't love tacos? All right, let's jump right into it. So Rick Ferrante, president of Home Care Services Santa Clarita, is here to help me out. I personally know I'm not the only one in this boat, but I have been a part of the sandwich generation for about a year now, when my mother got a certain diagnosis for very, very early stages of Parkinson's. And she's very young. It's very slow progressing. She's extremely independent. Okay. My parents divorced when I was very young, and she has been a very strong, amazing single mom for me my whole life, and active school teacher, very social, and lived on her own. And she owns her own condo, and she does her thing, and she's got her life going on. But this came as quite a blow, right? Mm-hmm. And so for all of us, and I think that the first thing we do is kind of ignore it, like everything's fine here. Everything's just like it always was. No, we're fine. But really, the smart thing to do is talk about it and then be prepared. And that's what Rick Ferrante is a specialist in. Tell us about Home Care Services Santa Clarita. I know you've been in business forever. I know I hear your name a lot, and you're very well respected. Tell us about what you do.
So we're a home care agency. So we provide caregivers for families, seniors, and others, and their families that seniors needing assistance with activities of daily living in their home. Okay, basically it's the kind of description that you were describing, although, like you said, if someone is, very independent and maybe this is something down the road, but what we have is caregivers that go into the home and they provide assistance with bathing, dressing, transportation. That's a big one. That's something that,
That is a big one. Yeah. I've noticed that that's really tough for my mom.
Yeah, well, that's a whole independence element.
It really is.
That's what it is. It's a lot less to do with, loving to drive and much more to do with about being independent.
Yes.
So what happens is we have an agency right here in Santa Clarita, and we provide these services. Now, what's interesting is we'll get these calls from families, and you would think, we would be getting calls from seniors, and it's not. It is from families like you're describing.
That's right.
Who have their own family life, right? They have their own families. They have their own job, their own whatever they're doing and whatever they're involved with.
Right.
And then they get, and usually it's kind of event-driven, maybe a fall, maybe a diagnosis, something, somebody ends up in the hospital and then discharged. And all of a sudden, boom. And we call it that now what moment. So you're, wheeling your parent out of the Henry Mayo on a wheelchair. You're going to their house and realizing, kind of recognizing they're having issues just with kind of daily living stuff.
Right.
And so it's that now what moment. We're pretty preconditioned. I mean, there's a lot of support. There's a lot of thought process into families, children, raising children. I mean, myself raised 4 children right here in Santa Clarita. A lot going on with that. A lot of things that you kind of think through, plan, work out, kind of muddle through, and a lot of the things that you talk about and help people with.
Right.
Very little that goes out and says, this is what you do when your parent has troubles with activities of daily living in the home. There's nothing, right? It's tough. You look around and go, oh, what do I do now?
I mean, there really are mom groups for about everything except this. Yeah. I'm not kidding. Like, we can go from, cloth diapering to breastfeeding to everything in between.
Walking, strollers, exercise, everything,
it's
right?
all good. We need it all. But I have not yet found any group help here.
And this is devastating. And, well, I say devastating in the sense that it is a complete kind of upside down, making your, household into a circus here because you're not trained to do this. And let's face it. When you're thinking about children, right?
Yeah.
When you're doing you're looking at, this is an exciting thing. This is family. This is what this is what I want to do. I want to have a family. I want to raise a family. Right. And so you research, you get into it. You really, spend a lot of time at that. Give me the last time somebody was very excited about trying to help their mother, mother-in-law, father, father-in-law, grandparent, whoever it is, with the activities of daily living in their home.
I know.
There is just so little motivation to do that, and yet it's a real big problem. So the first thing to kind of think about and to understand is that when this occurs, and it can be kind of very sudden, like a fall or some kind of disease or diagnosis that kind of really hits fast. Even when it's not that instant, it's still pretty fast because people don't think about it. Oh, like you just said, it's fine until... oh my God, it's not.
Until it's not fine.
Right?
Yeah.
So it really is kind of quick. And so there is this role issue that people have got to start recognizing as soon as possible.
Okay.
You, for a long time, have been the son, daughter, grandson, granddaughter, whatever that role is for a long time. And that role is important. That role is needed. That's required. That is what you and your parent or grandparent, whoever it is, need and want. But there is another role here, and this is where we can come in, or you've got to kind of navigate, and that's this caregiver role, quote unquote caregiver.
Do you find that that's where that's where the snag happens?
That's where the snag happens.
Yeah.
Look, here's what happens: is not only is there an activity or a function here that you're not trained to do, you're not prepared to do, and you really didn't want to. This wasn't what I signed up for.
No.
Okay. But in addition, when you become that caregiver of helping somebody, just get dressed in the morning, help them with their personal hygiene, transportation, medication. My wife is, all twice this week is driven down to my mother-in-law and taken her to the doctor, right?
Yes.
All day event here. I mean, this thing takes forever.
My husband and I do the same thing.
Right.
We'll switch off, and one's got to pick up the kids from school, and the other one's got to be where my mom needs to drive down to USC to see her specialist, and it's all
there
a new
is,
juggle.
Unfortunately, then what happens is once you've kind of take on that full role of being a caregiver, what have you lost? That role of being the daughter, son, right?
Okay, this is a strange question maybe to ask, but is there a bit of a mourning period on that? I mean, just as a daughter or a son, you're like, oh, geez.
Yeah, what ends up happening is there is a, this kind of, again, a denial whole thing, right? That this isn't different, oh, mom's great, everything's just fine. Yeah, she's, kind of, getting crazy on different things and can't find her keys and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But heck, that's what I can't find my keys half the time. So this isn't really that unusual, right?
What I have for lunch.
Right. But when you get to that point and have kind of ignored it and then seen it kind of crash, yes, there is a period of, you think of your own mortality. You think of your own issues. You think of your own, right? And you think of, well, oh my gosh, this is a stage.
You guys need to offer some sort of counseling, I think, is the next step here over at Home Services.
This is
Home Care Services and our counseling group.
Well, that's what our case managers end up doing.
Yeah.
And what they'll do is to say, look, you have got to, whether or not you hire outside for this caregiver role or you compartmentalize, you've got two different roles going on here. One that is a caregiver, that you're doing these functions, you're doing these activities that are, by definition, they are care. They're not the relationship of a daughter or a son would be doing.
No, going to pick up prescriptions, getting the groceries, changing a light bulb.
But even much more personal, like bathing, dressing, toileting,
Right.
all these things that are very difficult. And yet, at the same time, as in your own responsibility or your own feeling of love for that person, you're not going to just push that out the door.
No, of course not.
And what ends up happening is there is on the other side, the flip side, the senior is desiring of that role that was there before and wants to have that same kind of independence that they had before.
Oh,
so
yeah.
How do you navigate all of that? And that's exactly where our case managers spend more time dealing with the family members and how they're going to then, okay, we can have a caregiver come in and do X, Y, and Z for certain hours and so on.
Right.
But they spend a lot of time with that family helping with the rest of it.
I think that that's something that's overlooked, and I didn't even think about it, is the psychology behind it and the help that we need. I just need a friend that understands and that specializes in this, and that's what.
Yeah, exactly. What you just said is exactly what happens. And why? Well, who wants to think of this? I know where my next vacation is going to be. I know what my next car is going to be. I know what my next TV is going to be. My next shoes. I know a lot of things. The fun stuff, you research, you know a lot about.
Yeah.
What you don't know about is these important things. It's kind of like the estate planning attorneys go through. Nobody wants to think of this because what's it about?
Yes.
Fine. It's all this.
My mom will call and be like, I need you to come over and sign some papers. And I'm like, no, I'm busy. I can't sign things. I know what that means. I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. So there's the first lesson and then the first thought. Okay. Stop for a second. Take a deep breath, and you got to get past that. This is going to be forever.
You got to pony up, people. It's just it's the way it is.
This is not going to last forever the way you were when you were a kid. And mom and dad aren't going to be the same kind of same position. Now, what you do want to start looking at is to say, okay, now how can I accommodate this? Whether maybe it's something where I can bring in professional help to help them along those lines and be that role, or maybe I've got to kind of compartmentalize and do some of that role because that's what I want to do, or we can't afford a caregiver, whatever. But I've got to also maintain that other being the daughter.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because if I lose that, that's where that whole mental anguish goes, but not only for you, but for your mom,
Yeah.
for your dad.
Yeah.
Okay? Just think about that in terms of their own mental state to say, okay, well, yeah, it's tough for you, but it's also tough for that person that's losing that independence.
Right.
So the first step is open your eyes and really look at what's going on.
Right.
And then start planning, okay, as this kind of gradually goes, I have that role aspect. I have the financial aspect.
Yeah.
Okay. I have everybody else that's involved, not just me, but, maybe siblings.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, one of the hardest things, Kristen, is the sibling issues. Okay. Because if you and I are siblings, what you think is going on or should be going on, et cetera, with mom, and what I think it should be going on are entirely different.
Oh, yeah. I hear that on like other radio talk shows that I listen to, and then things like that come up with siblings. It is a nightmare.
We have the best interests of mom and mine, both of us.
Yeah.
But we have completely different ways of doing it. We've got to talk that through before the event happens, that it becomes an issue.
Okay.
Now, the next thing is, okay, your own family.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, go ahead.
Would it be a good idea, or could we do this? Would you take our phone call if we called, Home Care Services Santa Clarita, and we said, we're not quite there yet, but we want to look ahead. I mean, it's just like life insurance or getting your wills done or other parenting horrible grown-up-y things we have to deal with. Would it be a smart idea to call ahead of time a little bit and be like, okay, we know this is around the corner. Could you help us kind of get prepped?
What do you, if somebody asked you that in terms of children, in terms
Oh
of,
my gosh.
right? Same answer.
I'd be like, heck yeah.
Yeah, give me a call before. Look, when was the last time a problem was better solved after it happened than before? So the answer is absolutely yes. And there is never a too early time.
Right.
I mean, I guess, my kids aren't going to ask that. Well, they should be, because who knows about, where my mental state is going, right? But the point is that there is never too early a time. Now, there is that other side of it, that preparation in terms of the rest of the family, and when there are children involved, whatever age they are.
Yeah.
That, they're part of that plan could be things like, eventually we're having that discussion of maybe having mom move in with us.
Yes.
Okay, so that's our sandwich generation. Now, that's the physical element. Sandwich doesn't just mean the physical.
Okay, yeah.
It means that I'm caring for the two sides, those two generations. That's where I am in that sandwich. I'm in the middle. The two sides are my children and my
kids
parents.
And my parents, right.
So, and that can be whether it's physical or not. But that's one of the things is that going to some point occur? Well, start thinking that through and how that dynamic is going to work with those kids. Because, again, if you're not thinking of it and then tomorrow stuff comes into the house, all these thoughts that you had of how things are going to be going for the next few years with these kids is going to be completely different.
Yeah. Have you heard of these, I think they're called mom pods. They're starting to become popular, where they literally will now bring you an extra room on a truck, drive it to your house, hook it up to your house as an extra room. It's called a mom pod. And they have like ramps and access, and they hook into all of your different electricity and whatever, because so many people now, there's a huge generation of us needing to bring our parents closer and help care for them. And it's it's everywhere, you guys. It's undeniable. It's growing and it's happening, and we need to be prepared for it.
Yeah, I have heard of that, and
it's interesting,
also
right?
Construction, et cetera. There's all kinds of things. But
yes.
Start thinking now.
Okay. All right, we've got Home Care Services here, Santa Clarita. You can obviously go onto our Facebook page at KHTS Radio. Throw in a question if you have one. This is the time where we have an expert here. Definitely take advantage. I always say that because you have direct access to the people who know the most about it. HomeCareSantaClarita.com is the website to go to check out more about the services they offer, learn more about them, contact them, find out what the local resources are that they recommend. It's all about you being here to really help us moms and dads as we are caring now for not just our kids and looking out for our own health, by the way, which always ends up at the bottom of the list. And then now starting to care for our parents as well. We're going to come back with Rick in just a minute and wrap this up with some great things that you can take away with you from the Mom Show. You're listening to your hometown station, KHTS.
No contract.
Kristen Cruz, it's the Mom Show here, and we are talking to Home Care Services Santa Clarita. Go to homecaresantaclarita.com to find out more. Rick Ferrante is with me, and we're the sandwich generation, okay? My listeners, you and I, we are in it, man. We've got the little kids on one side, and we've got our parents on the other side, and we're all just getting older together. So we need to figure out how to be prepared. And something that Rick and I were talking about off the air was money, baby. How prepared are you? I mean, I just read a poll about how many Americans are prepared for their own retirement, and it's pathetic. So we need to put on our big boy pants and face this parenting stuff and grown-up stuff. Let's talk about finances.
Yeah, it's the toughest thing that we deal with. Obviously, there are a lot of people who would love to be able to have help with this kind of stuff, and they don't have well, it's really their parents and then themselves too aren't prepared for it. Here's the thing, is this is actually an interesting good news problem.
Okay.
We're all living tremendously longer than anybody thought. So, I mean, I watch and I look at financial planning, and they have these graphs that go up, and they say this is how much you need for a retirement because for the rest of whatever point you're talking about, and
right.
they have this graph that goes up, and I look at it, and even these very conservative estimates were really off, and especially 20, 30, 40 years ago, that people when they're retiring have this time frame that is like half the length that it really needs to be. They're with medicine, et cetera, and the kinds of things that go on. Alzheimer's is a good example. The average length of time from diagnosis till somebody succumbs to Alzheimer's disease, the average is 8 to 10 years.
Okay.
So what people were planning for is few years, 10, whatever, 15 years of retirement. It's like 30, okay? It's like 35.
Right.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
And the care needs for a long period of that time is great. Assisted living, home care, things like that.
Yeah.
What people need to understand is that those things, home care, assisted living,
Yes.
those kinds are not covered by typical insurance nor Medicare. Okay?
Yikes.
Let's stop for a second. That assisted living, these really nice assisted living places that help those needs with those activities of daily living, nor in home care. It's not, none of that is covered by Medicare
And it
or
can
regular
be expensive.
insurance.
It can be expensive.
And it kind of gradually gets more the more care somebody needs. So it needs to be planned for both your parents as well as yourself, etc. That, look, there is going to be a considerable amount of time that I'm going to need care that is expensive, and it's not just, there's no big bucket of money out there that somebody is going to provide for it.
Right.
So start that planning for
Early.
your parents and for you early, and knowing that this isn't just about regular expenses that I'm incurring today continuing on.
Okay.
They're going to increase because I'm going to need care, I'm going to need assisted living, I'm going to need things that are more, that cost more.
I have so many like savings jars. I've got like the college savings jar. I've got the retirement savings jar. Now I've got this jar.
Yep, because retirement is in a period of time where, okay, I'm retired right now, but I have the same level of expenses. Okay,
Right.
and then I'm a considerable amount of time where those expenses really increase because I need care. There are other people that are doing things to help me. Somebody's got to pay for that. Yeah. So if that's the case, everybody says, oh, just shoot me, right? I'll, if I get to that point. Well, what people don't understand, there's a long period of time where there can be a very good quality of life.
Yes.
Absolutely a great quality of life, just with some assistance, whether it's in a facility or community or home care or some combination. And usually there's kind of a journey, a time frame, a time for each. People need to take that into consideration. Look to say, I'm going to bump that up for a period of time.
Is this an affordable option? I mean, does home care services, there's so much you guys offer. So it really runs the gamut. I mean, from traditional things that your mom and dad needs help with to other things. I mean, I'm seeing like there's some blog posts on your site. Great information, by the way.
It's a lot of what it is a lot of community resources. So when you're in a position that you need care, there are a lot of professionals in our community that deal with a lot of different things. So our site is kind of developed so that you can go there and look at all kinds of things that maybe we do or other people in the community do.
Right.
So look at it. We've only touched on a few, but financial planning is one of them. So we have financial planning in there so that they have people can start looking and considering that. But really important, think about that whole thing where there is a significant period of time that your parents and you will need additional funds for care.
Yet your income won't be growing.
You won't be there because you've retired.
Right.
And it won't be static because that actually increases. It goes up, that care need, because when you first retire, it was great, I'm going on vacation, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And
playing golf.
Wonderful.
Good life.
Well, then you get to a point where it's, hey, I need help, license, right? I need somebody drive me.
Right.
Well, there was a cost to that.
Yep.
I mean, I don't care where it comes from. There is a cost to that. I need somebody to help. There's medication management, like I said, bathing, dressing, and all these things. Now, at this point in this period of time, there is still wonderful quality of life. People have to recognize that simply because, I'm, slowing down and it's dangerous for me to be driving doesn't mean that this is bad quality of life. I just need some assistance.
Right.
We just got to plan for that. Take that into consideration and understand and recognize that I'm going to need some help at some point, and I'm not just going to forever be able to do everything I do now and then done.
Think about how far ahead of the game you'll be if you actually start thinking about this now while your kids are babies, and so that you can be, or even before that, but prepared for that later when I can tell you right now, the relationship my children have with my parents is so precious and so important. My husband and I want to see the kids watching their grandparents live a healthy, happy, cared for life. It's important to us.
And it's important to your kids. It was important to me would have those grandparents to see and to understand and have those relationships.
Yes.
That's part of that family dynamic.
Right.
Just accommodate for it and recognize that there's a lot going on there.
Recognize.
When you do.
That's right.
This could be the quality of life for their entire family, and that sandwich generation
It really is.
doesn't have to be a negative.
Right. It can be a really good sandwich. Thank you, Rick Ferrante, for being here. We really appreciate you shedding some light on a subject that I don't think we talk about enough. I might have to start a Facebook group for you so that
thanks for
me and
having
all
me.
my girlfriends can chat more about it. Home Care Services Santa Clarita. Please go to homecaresantaclarita.com and learn more about what they have to offer. You could even, I feel like, I mean, I'm just throwing it out there, but you could probably just call them up and ask them a billion questions, and they are friendly and nice enough that they would just help you kind of navigate through your own thoughts about all of this and give you some options.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much again for being on the Mom Show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So, guys, we're going to move on to my new friend, Kimberly Love, who is an author. She's a mom. She's super cool. And she just wrote a book called You Taste Like Whiskey and Sunshine, which sounds like a country song to me, actually. That sounds like a country song. We're going to take her now on the Mom Show. Kimberly, thanks for being on the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be on the show.
Oh my gosh. And I know it's your first time on the show. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with you, Kimberly. You Taste Like Whiskey and Sunshine, available in paperback now. Please go to kimmylove.com if you want to find out more about her. KIMMILOVE. So where are you calling in from now? Are you in Canada? Where are you?
I am a Canadian girl. I'm in Windsor, Ontario right now.
Oh my gosh! And what's it like out there right now? Like, if you're looking at your, can you look out your window? Is it cold? Is it hot? What's happening there?
No, we have some sun today. It was a slow going. We didn't even get spring this year, so we finally got summer. But we've definitely had a longer winter than usual. So
really,
I'm glad to have the warm. I'm sure you guys have much nicer weather.
Well, it's hot basically every day, all the time for the last 35 plus years of my life that I've noticed.
Yeah,
I've
that's
actually
a
been
real
here for
bummer,
40.
I'm sure.
But yes, so but I love to hear what it's like when I'm talking to someone somewhere else, so I can just kind of like escape into their weather for a moment.
Well, I'm a northern girl. I'm originally from Sault Ste. Marie, so I'm definitely used to much different weather. We used to get snowstorms where we couldn't even get out our front doors.
Oh my
Kind of nice to be where it's warm.
That's so interesting. I love that. I've never lived in a climate quite like that. I spent some time living in New York and in London, but it wasn't ever that, that crazy. That's so interesting. Yeah. So I guess if you're, as a writer, if you get, packed in with snow, then you just hunker down and write yourself another book. Kimberly has written over 20 books, so she's not new to this. But this book is especially important to you. And kind of a near and dear to your heart book, I can tell, the way that you've been talking about it on social media. And tell us a little bit about the book, You Taste Like Whiskey and Sunshine.
Well, it's my memoir, so it's about experiences that I've had in life. But what I've experienced growing up, I guess, was a form of family abuse. And one thing that I've discovered is that in some situations, it can follow you for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And for me, that wasn't something that happened. I decided that I wasn't going to let it define me. I was going to persevere no matter what I was going to do. And for me, I found writing the book was inspirational because I've had so many people come and talk to me now, and they're like, wow, this helped me along, and it made me realize that this isn't just my life. I can be whatever I want to be. And that was part of my journey of writing the book, was that I wanted to show people that, we all have something, some form of skeleton in our closet that we don't like to talk about, or, that we're scared to say out loud. And I just wanted to be able to show people that you can rise above that and have a very fulfilling life.
Especially when you're such an accomplished artist at your craft. People seem to just assume that you came from a perfect childhood. You must have had an especially nice upbringing, right? And that everything's fine. And, and then, and to take a step back, we all suffered a loss in the fashion industry with Kate Spade. Over the last couple of days, I have been kind of tingly. I just grew up with Kate Spade as a brand and as a woman to look up to, as a pioneer for other women. And you have, especially because of the aesthetics, I think, of her fashion, we always thought that she must have this perfect life. Everything looked perfect, right? And that just clearly isn't true.
It is shocking when you see such great talent and then you're like, well, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
But that's what
Right.
people don't realize. People will say to me, well, you're so strong. Like, I had no idea. Well, I don't think you ever become strong without going through struggle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love what you wrote about what your best friend said to you once, saying, Kim, you're insane. You know that, right? But it's okay, though. I dig it. It's kind of like embracing your crazy, your freak flag flies, and surrounding yourself with people who love you for it, not despite of
Exactly.
it.
Yeah, I'm definitely a weird girl. So it's nice to find people to hang out with that will allow you to fly your freak flag. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's
Yeah.
that individuality.
I think that that's important to make sure you have that team and find your tribe. I mean, man, in motherhood, it's so important to find people that aren't judging. The mom shaming is like crazy everywhere, and
Yeah.
it's so important to find your tribe, whether you're like, oh, La Leche League, or you didn't breastfeed, or you're anti C-section, or you're giving birth at home, or you're not, or whatever. Really, we need to stop judging each other, first of all, but that's a whole nother topic. But finding that tribe that you can be yourself with, they understand your craziness, whatever it might be,
Mhm.
and really be there, because that's what you need. You need that support around you of like-minded
Yeah.
people.
Well, I try to. I have a little girl. She's 12,
Mm,
and that's what I try to teach her is that like you don't have to be like everybody else. You know what I mean?
hmm
You be who you are, and people will find you because of that.
Absolutely. There's that old saying that I know Kimberly, is you attract what you are. So if you walk around as like a poor me disaster, as a victim all the time, or whatever, that happens to be for you, that's what you're going to attract. So it's
Yeah.
important to kind of put out there the kind of person that you want in your life. Be yourself, and you'll find those like-minded people. Don't fake it for anybody else. It just
Oh, I
never
totally
works,
agree.
right? So Kimberly Love, author of many books, writing for herself or other. Now, this is your first novel, though, right? Is that right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
under my own name. I've been ghostwriting
Oh,
for 15 years, so I've been writing other
wow.
people's books. But this is, I'm I made a huge life change in the past few years where I wanted to work for myself and kind of, tell
hmm
my own stories.
What is that like? How do you get into ghostwriting? I think that's a really interesting, almost like a fantasy job that I think, what is that? How did you get into that? What's that all about?
It's actually just quite random. Like I mean, I've always wanted to be a writer, but I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
quite sure how to do it. And I mean, there's lots of websites out there like Red Sea and Upwork and stuff like that. And it's basically just a matter of putting a profile up and bidding on jobs. And it's a very slow start. Like, I mean, writers are just plagued with rejection their whole lives. So if you
So
finally
true.
make it, you know what I mean? It's only because you've persevered against
All
against the odds.
odds. Yeah.
But I mean, that's how I started. It was just very basic. And I mean, you get a rating after a while and word of mouth. And now, I mean, the people just come to me or they did. I mean, I don't do it so much anymore, but, yeah. So it's just kind of like, you just got to get your name out there and be known for good work, quality work. And that's sort of how it started.
I think that's so fascinating. I think there are a lot of people who want to be a writer, want to start writing, and don't know where to start. And I love that you actually are a success story that kind of started on those different sites. I mean, as a writer and a voiceover artist, my little side hustles that I like to do because I really enjoy it.
Hmm.
My hobbies, I guess, that luckily I can get paid for sometimes. I've looked at those sites, and I've heard of other talent doing that kind of thing, but I just wasn't ever sure that it would really work, that it would actually get a legitimate job, or they would actually take you to the next level of your career at all. Like, I don't know.
Well,
Um,
it definitely gave me the experience. I mean, it's not going to put you on the bestsellers list. I mean, because you're writing under a different name. But I mean, it's definitely the way to go if you need experience.
Okay, so there's an article on your blog, and you should definitely check out kimmylove.com. I think it's a great blog. It's just really interesting. If you're a book lover like I am, if you're like you love to read, which I just do. I know not everybody does. A lot of people in my family are not book readers, but I absolutely love reading, and I've always been that way. I love writing. So if that appeals to you, if that's something, go to her website because it's kind of a peek inside of an author's brain. She's very open, very, very vulnerable, very like, this is what's happening in my life. KimmyLove.com. It's KIMMI love.com. There is a post from just like a couple weeks ago, The Ageless Author. I love this one. On the doorstep of your 40th birthday, high five. Totally get that.
Thank you.
I think this is a great read. And what I love is that, and I talk about a Mom 2.0 a lot on this show, a kind of a reboot of our lives. We're not, 20-year-olds. And I've had like young millennial authors on and bloggers and stuff too. And that's cool. But, we're moms of, like Kimmy said, a 12-year-old or 9-year-old, 5-year-old. And we're women that may have even had careers before this. And you're kind of a story to me, a testament to the fact that we can do this stuff at any age. Like,
Yes.
Don't let it hold you back, right?
Yeah, I'm a big believer that you can do anything you want, and it doesn't matter at what stage of life you're at or how old you are or anything. Like, I'm a firm believer, and I came from that where I was raised in poverty and whatnot, and you never thought you could be anything. But you know what I mean? I'm about to reach my 40th birthday, and I'm living a great life doing what I love, and anybody can do that.
By the way, she also even talks about turning 40, Botox. I mean, the real deal. So if you want to just, relate to another woman, we're all in the same place here, girls. So check that out. This is a really good blog post. I love it. I love that she even has
Thank
pictures before and afters. I mean, it's really cool because we're just being so honest with each other. It's the only way to be, right, Kimberly?
Yeah,
So what
agree.
do you think your biggest hurdle was to get over? I mean, you got to read the book to really understand where Kimberly comes from. So I suggest you go get it. But what do you think the biggest hurdle was, or the loudest voice in your head that you had to turn off, or a belief that you had to switch up in order to get to this next level of where you are now? Because your life sounds good. It sounds like it's good. It sounds like you've got some things, a few of your ducks in a row at least. Like it sounds good.
Yes, I'm definitely proud of where I am right now, and you know what? I'm sitting on my couch right now, midday. I could be drinking a mimosa. You know what I mean?
Doing a radio interview, talking about your book. I mean, please, come on.
But I mean, there was definitely a time where, when you've been through crappy things in your life, it's just, I guess the strongest voice could be like, "This is it." You know what I mean? It's only going to get as good as this. You wake up in the morning, you don't want to go to work, you're depressed. You've just been through too much. And I think it can be hard to say, life could be so much different. And I know just talking to people, it's just, some of them can't even get out of bed, because they can't get past what's happened to them. And I think for me, that was probably the hardest, is realizing that life could be so much better, that I don't have to live in believing that, it was my fault or I deserve to be treated that way or anything like that. And I think for me, rising above that and now teaching my daughter these lessons, it's that you can achieve absolutely anything. And I'm the example of that. And that's what I want people to understand, is it really doesn't matter what you've been through, that you can be happy again.
I love it. I love it. Kimberly, your next book needs to be like a self-help book, I think. We're going to get everybody motivated and excited. Yeah, I'm throwing it out there. So Kimberly Love, author, mom, and boss. She just is a testament to turning your life around, no matter where you come from, what you're going through, or whatever it is. You do you, and it's never too late, and it's where you're at and where you want to be, not just where you come from. I love how you own your story, and I really appreciate the book. You Taste Like Whiskey and Sunshine. Please pick it up, check it out, and share it. It's available now in paperback. Kimberly, thank you so much for calling in from Canada. Enjoy your beautiful weather. I'm so glad it's
Thank you
summer.
for having me.
You're welcome. We'll talk to you soon. We'll catch up with you online. Make sure to go to her website and follow her on all the social media outlets. We'll talk to you soon, Kimberly.
Okay, have a good day.
Bye-bye, you too.
Bye now.
It's the Mom Show. I'm Kristen Cruz. Are we wrapping up, Cody? Or are we going to take a break and then we're gone forever? Or are we coming back? What are we doing? We're coming back? He says we're going to get to come back for a couple of minutes. I'm going to tell you something so fun that you can do with the family here in Southern California this weekend. You absolutely can't miss it. Everyone's going to love it. I do it every year, and I'm going to let you in on it. You're listening to your hometown station, KHTS.
If you're in danger of losing your home to foreclosure, you need an expert. Hi, I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty. I've helped hundreds of Santa Clarita residents save their homes completely for free. I've got just over 20 years experience and a loan modification success rate of over 80%. I can negotiate better terms with your bank, and I can save your home from foreclosure. And again, we do this completely for free. So if you're in any danger, please call me today at 661-714-1400. That number again is 661-714-1400. I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty, and I'll be happy to help you save your home for free.
Santa Clarita Water has a long history of safe, reliable water service. SCV Water is dedicated to increasing efficiencies, protecting our vital resources, and improving their customers' experiences. That's you. Meet them at their new home on the web at yourscvwater.com. There you can find the latest news, rebates, and much more. That's yourscvwater.com. They can't wait to serve you.
Our trash has got to go somewhere, and Chiquita Canyon Landfill is helping make the Santa Clarita Valley a little greener. Our local landfill creates clean energy from our waste disposal to power 10,000 homes each year. With their 9.2 megawatt clean energy facility harnessing the landfill's methane gas, you can feel good that the waste from your home in the SCV is helping create a clean energy source. Chiquita Canyon Landfill is our partner in sustainable living.
Chiquita Canyon is helping lead the way to a greener future.
The USC sexual abuse scandal is heart-wrenching, as more evidence is revealed showing school officials ignored legitimate complaints from dozens and dozens of female students dating back 3 decades. Many are still traumatized. The Santa Clarita law firm of Owen Patterson Owen is helping USC victims get financial assistance for their suffering and see that justice is served. If you know someone impacted by the USC gynecologist's abuse, visit opolaw.com. opolaw.com.
Now FM, 98.1 FM and AM 1220, your hometown station.
I'm Kristen Cruz. This is The Bomb Show. I'm so glad you're tuning in. I have a lot of things to share with you as far as where you can go to have fun in Southern California with the family. I'm born and bred here. My family's pretty active. We like to adventure. I remember when we just first had Izzy, and you may have been listening to me on the radio when I was pregnant with Isabel almost 9 years ago, on Coast 103.5 when I was hosting the morning show. I've been through so much with you guys. Matt and I, my husband, fireman Matt, would throw everything in the car and put Izzy in the car. She hated the car seat. It was a nightmare. I couldn't even get to McDonald's and back. I'm like, please, Mommy's hungry. But we would put everything in the car, and, we're the kind of family that will start off the morning going, let's just go down and get a coffee at the local coffee place. And next thing you know, we're actually getting coffee at the place up in Santa Barbara that I've always wanted to try, that I found on Yelp. We're that family. And we would end up there with no diapers, no food for Izzy. We'd be like, oh man, geez, And that was just, we're adventurers. And Izzy even still to this day is like, Mom, every day's an adventure with you guys. And we love that. And that's why I want to tell you about this really fun activity that we do every single year. It's hosted by SoCal Moms. It's called the Great Big Family Play Day. It's this weekend on the 10th. And they're just friends of mine. And, they love me. I love them. It's just one of those things. I think they're good people with great vendors. I've found so many new brands there. There are hundreds of booths. They're all for families. I think I found my latest peanut butter that I love that's all natural. It's called Love. Spread the Love is this peanut butter brand that I found there. They're not paying me to say that. I've found so many great things. Baby Ganix is going to be there this year. Eco's Books and Cookies, which is a great store that helps encourage playtime and reading because they should really be the same thing. And the City Moms app is also sponsoring this event. So I just want to let you know about it. You can check it out at greatbigfamilyplayday.com. I know it's a mouthful, but if you follow me on social media, you'll see me starting to post all about it as we gear up for the 10th. It's from 9 to 5 at the Autry Griffith Park, Los Angeles. Tons of room. Blow-up slides. We've had some great entertainment. My friend Heather Brooker, who's another podcaster of motherhood in Hollywood, will be hosting it. We have had, oh gosh, I can't even think of all the performers that we've had actually show up and make great music for the kids. Subaru's going to be there. I mean, these are these are really good sponsors that they have there and some solid entertainment. So I want you to check it out if you don't know what to do this weekend. It really is a fun thing. Really great people running it, and I bet you'll probably like bump into some other mommies and daddies that you know there. It's really fun. There's a hydration station and a sunscreen station too if you're worried about the weather, and then lots of food and dessert trucks, mamas. So bring your coffee and have a good time. I'm sure I'll see you there. So thanks for being a part of another great mom show. Rick Ferrante, the president of Home Care Services Santa Clarita, thank you for being on the show and tackling a situation that so many of us are in as a sandwich generation and helping us with home care services for our parents. Thank you to Kimberly Love, author and rad chick and cool mom up in Canada calling in. And thanks again to the Lego people for sending me this movie. I know we've got the second part because they come in pieces. You see, coming out in February of 2019. But we're celebrating Taco Tuesday with them now. And I will see you next week for another mom show on your hometown station, KHTS.